Hello, good morning. I believe you can hear me. All right, we are here to talk about. Okay, one question. You know how to mock up your child, right? Amazing, 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 amazing. So we're here to analyze this market, right? This is already a trending market, right? And I think we analyzed this sometime earlier this week. Anyway, so we're here to look at this and know where it's possibly going to. So we targeted this high, right? Of course, the market got to this high. You can see these are a series of equal highs until it broke, right? So looking at this and applying the principles of FVG, perhaps, we are seeing an imbalance here that we expect the market to get to before making this final move, right? So I'm going to mark that out. This is on the 4 hours time frame, actually. It's on the 4 hours time frame. So it has not, it was just respected, right? But not necessarily, this one just came respected. It's not necessarily in the box, right? And, the market is going back. So we have a high, that's this point. So let's use our Fibonacci. So I have here, okay, even using our Fibonacci here, the market has not also gotten to the 50 zone. So for this buy you are looking at here to make sense or to continue, the market has to tap back into the zone, right? So if you are this for a long-term analysis, so it might take a while before the market gets here, but wait, right? For it to get back into this zone, then we work with it, right? So we've done our mark off first on the first time frame. So you're looking at a supposed downward movement, right? Looking at a supposed downward movement into this um zone, right? Of course, before this higher one is broken. Okay. So in that case, we might perhaps have to look for a sell opportunity on the lower time frames, like 1 and 5. Since we're expecting the market to get down here. So we're gonna do that right now. Yeah. So we've gotten our entry zone from the 4 hours time frame for USDJPY. So next thing is to see how the market is on the 15 minutes time frame. To see if it's giving us um let's see this. All right, this is what the 15 minutes is looking like. We have a high, we have a low. Of course, that reaction, we're expecting it to get back into this point. We have, okay, first off, this high is lower than this, but we are not so interested in that. We have series of equal lows here, and there are so many liquidity below this point. So there's also a high probability that the market will come back to sweep this, right? So this idea might be invalid, right? If this high is broken, right? So like I said, what you're looking for here is an opportunity not just to sell, right? You can either look for a sell idea here or you patiently wait for it to tap back into the zone, right? So let's say we want to take a counter trend trade, right? Let's say we want to take a counter trend trade. It's gonna be taking a counter trend trade is gonna be exactly what I'm trying to say. Yeah, the trend is a buy trend from the higher time frame. But from the lower time frame, you're trying to see if you can take possible sell idea, which is the counter trend, But in that lower time frame, it aligns with what you're looking at, right? It aligns with what you're looking at. So now we have a high here, we have a low here, right? So if you're looking for a sell, let me perhaps use my okay. If I'm looking for a sell, this market is actually ready for a sell, right? It's within the sell zone. Only thing left is for it to start um moving down. We have perhaps a high here that can be respected, right? So in that case, let's see how the 1 minute time frame is. Now, what you're using here is FVG and what's it called? FVG and Fibonacci. FVG and Fibonacci, right? So let's see. This is 1 minute time frame. Let's see what it's like over here. Um, okay, okay. This trend is still strong. Trend is still strong over here. Well, let's see. Mm, okay. Seeing all of this, let us, okay, these are high. Now, possible sell points, like I said here, from the 15 minutes time frame is valid for a sell. Possible sell points might perhaps be from this. We have Fibonacci zones that this guy can sell from. This is one of them. Fibonacci zones that this market can sell from. This is one. There's no other Fibonacci, there's no other fair value gap I can see above this zone. Right. So if I'm looking at a possible sell, this is a point, right? Of course, if I'm getting here, any point around here, I have my SL, right? I'm going this point. Then I might not shoot for this. I can just shoot for any zone above and below here or this exact point. All right. So with this, I'll patiently wait. See. All right. So that is it. Then there's something I saw on the there's something I saw on gold right now. Now this is from the 15 minutes time frame, right? Oh, what's happening? Okay. I was a bit distracted earlier because I actually had a trade running here. All right. So it just hit TP. Just seven pips, not that much. Now, this is good, right? Similar to this is exactly or something similar to what we are seeing on Euro USDJPY. The only difference is that USDJPY hasn't made this move yet. Now, let me show us. We have series of highs, right? Just like this that was broken. Let me pick the exact highs. Or let me do it this way, right? We have series of high, right? On USDJPY. With USDJPY, right? Let me show you something similar to what just happened. Where's my network misbehaving? But funny enough is that that zone is actually on the 4 hours time frame, right? So what we are waiting for here is after this close, we're expecting the market to not just come back down. Now we have two confluence here, right? We have break and retest as a zonal strategy in play, and a possible FVG and a fair value gap we expect the market to get to. Now the third confluence we have here is our Fibonacci, right? The 50 zone is right within the fair value gap, right? The 50% mark is right within the fair value gap, right? So we have three things telling us that there is a possible reaction. In fact, my eye just got open to this other fair value gap down here, right? There's a possibility here that this market can still get back here before making this big move we are looking at, right? USDJPY is quite bullish, right? But to get that long-term buy you are looking at, assuming you're a swing trader, perhaps, because this trade is not gonna, it might not, right, get here as fast as possible today. If even, you might even get to this point tomorrow, right? But main thing is, this is for swing trading. We are looking at the 4 hours time frame. You can allow this trade to run like, it might hit, it might get to this point or hit that target buy you are looking at, perhaps by today's or Thursday or Wednesday. I'm correct or wrong. By Friday, all right? So these are the confluence we have here. Now, we said that we know for a fact that this market needs to come back into the zone before taking a buy. Now, we decided to go down to a lower time frame to take a counter trend trade. You get that? To take a counter trend trade. Counter trend trade is looking for a sell idea in this particular move because on the 5 minutes on the what's it called 15 minutes time frame using our Fibonacci still, right? The market, right, is past the 50 zone, which is actually a very good area for this market to start selling, right? And we went down to 5 minutes time frame and saw a fair value gap that the market can respect to continue the sell, right? So we got in at this fair value gap and the market is dropping, right? Wait, I can take this trade. Here's the JPY. So I don't get to just miss out. USDJPY. This is just my analysis. So USDJPY short. What's going with the low risk? That's all. From the 5 minutes time frame, right? And here, CP just below this point, and we are good. All right. So this is what we are looking at. Now, what is about to happen on the 50 on USDJPY on the 4 hours time frame? It also this stuff has already happened on gold, right? For gold, this is gold's 5 minutes time frame, right? This area I showed us, right? Areas of equal highs, it broke, then came down. Now let's pick a significant low right now. Let me see from this point to see if actually the necessary thing you can get to do. Okay. And look at the last low. This is a high, a pullback on this 5 minutes time frame. Let me see something. Now, if you are to judge with this from this point to this point, that means the goal still needs to tap back into this area. But anyways, let me work with it from here. Working with the last low that gave rise to that high. Let's see if it makes sense. Let's see if it makes sense. All right. The last low that gave rise to this high. Now, this is the point where let me this is a point where this should be this way. All right. So remember, this is our mark, right? It broke this zone. This is the last low that gave rise to this high. Using the 50 zone as a mark, first off, we have this point as our retest point. We have that in check. What next can we see here? I'm just showing you what happened on gold, relating it to what can happen on USJPY, right? So we have a fair value gap here. Of course, and if you're entering at the fair value gap, right? So we have the fair value gap below the 50 zone. For USDJPY, we had the fair value gap right within the 50 zone, right? So since this high has been made, if you're looking at taking a retest of this, taking an exact retest might not really be the best because there's a potential zone where the market can get below that retest zone, right? So, and that's fair value gap below here. So you go in here, of course, your SL should be exactly. Funny thing about fair value gaps is where you see a fair value gap, right? Like when I talk about early FVGs, just after a down move, right? There is another block lying there staring at it. So I've not actually talked about other blocks that much, right? Other blocks are another entry model or another entry points that you can also leverage on, right? Other blocks, I've not even talked about other blocks. I'm just focusing on FVGs. You need to grab this one, right? Then we can now pair the two. In fact, that's part of what I plan to show us, of course, this month, right? Perhaps from next week, how to pair FVGs, other blocks. So even if you don't see, sometimes here, some other blocks are broken. You're like, why did the market break this other block? Sorry, break this FVG. But looking at it on a grand scale, it actually went down to respect another block below the FVG, right? Below the FVG. So let's continue. So what happened? The market came in here, respected the FVG, and of course, boom, disappeared. So let me talk about my exact trade this morning, right? So now, are you seeing? Of course, your target might perhaps be this high if you're taking your trade here. Of course, this high, and the market is still playing around. It's still running. From here to here should be how many pips? 5, plus or minus 14 pips or so, right? That's from your entry, 14 pips on average. Okay. So the main thing is now let me show you. This is like gold trading at its high this week, right? So there's something let's see, instead of let me show you something here. I need to switch this back so it will make sense. It's the same set of numbers, right? When you're in this kind of situation, right, that you enter a trade here, you can either, target, in actual sense, this should be like 100%, right? You can either target the 100%. In fact, that was a thing I do. In fact, okay, there's no need. This move, this Fibonacci will show you that, right? The distance of this move, the distance of this low to this high is exactly the distance between this point and this 100% here, right? Is exactly the distance between this point and this 100% here. In actual sense, it's going to be, what you're going to see is like 150%. Yeah, that's what I'm going to see here, if I'm correct. Either 150 or 200. And in fact, let's do that so it doesn't. So in your own analysis, you see everything as the same. What I have here is for a short move. So let me take it out. Man, what's happening now? Hmm. I want to set this thing, but I don't know why the setting is not popping up. This is not popping up. But whoever it is, right? Let's just okay. All right. So let me take away the minus. I'm not interested in the minus right now. I'm not interested in the minus. You're looking for plus. So we have 0.5, we have plus 1.5, right? We have 2, perhaps 2.5 as the case may be. Let's just work with these two, right? That's what we need for now. Okay. So before we are seeing like 50, 100, right? Minus 50 and 100. So in this case, now the distance between this low and this high is the same distance between this um high here and this 200%. So if you are in a situation like this, yeah, sometimes it gets better. This is something that gave me real concerns, right? When I started, when you are trading a trending market and the market is at its all-time high, where should I now target? Should I just aim aimlessly, right? So let's say you get in here with that long. You get in here, for instance, for your buy, your stop loss as low as this. You're targeting 100%. This is like the safest. I get it. This is like um, the safest, what's it called? The safest target because you're targeting what you're seeing, right? But Fibonacci helps you to target at least extra 50% of that move, right? Targeting extra 50% of this move from this Fibonacci. Now, this extra 50% is exactly, mm, in fact, this 50%, most times the market gets there. Sometimes, on a very serious trending market, it gets to the 200%, right? So you can start with aiming, going above 100% and targeting 50%. So by targeting 150, see how often the market hits your TP. This is a blind, you're just working based on what the market has done before, the possible movement it covered, right? So you don't need to now limit yourself to, this is the highest point of the market, so let me just stay here. You can, this is it. That's what Fibonacci does for you. You don't just limit yourself to it. In fact, this is your own personal exercise, perhaps. See it and watch how the market reacts, right? So so this is exactly what you're expecting on USDJPY. Once it gets down here, we take out, imagine how long that move is going to be. The pips is going to be large and it might perhaps take quite a while. Okay, it might perhaps take quite a while. So what I saw this morning was, I think that should be, let me see where I saw that thing. I think 1 minute time frame on gold charts. That should be on the 1 minute time frame. Okay, yeah. I didn't see all of these anyway. I just saw on the 15 minutes, I saw a strong move, right? This move has already happened, right? I saw this high. I thought, you know what? This man is going to respect this. And what are you seeing here? This is like, I didn't choose this high. I chose this particular one here. The high of this, that's like 4217. That's where it was at. All right. So next thing was to go down to like 1 minute time frame. All right. 1 minute time frame. The market was playing around. I saw this, right? And of course, this move happened. I think I got in at exactly 4:10, right? 4:10. This move happened. Yeah, this is where I got in, right? The market came down here, did a retest. Then I saw this candle breaking this small one. That was my entry, right? Tapped in. My SL was right below this area, 206. Target was this high here, right? 217, just this high. So a very short move, like how many pips? Very, very short move. Entering at this point, exiting at this point. Six to yeah, 7 pips, right? 7 pips basically. So 6 to 7 pips. Very, very short move. And the market played around a little bit, hit the TP. In fact, I saw this pullback here. I entered again for like how many pips? 2 or 3. It's crazy. Then of course it is what it is, right? So I hope it makes sense. Does it actually make sense? This one is still playing around. I'm on this trade though. So let's watch it and see if it gets to our entry. Right. So what I explained on gold is exactly what I'm expecting to happen on USDJPY. In fact, funny enough, okay, this is like the first trade I took on USDJPY. That was on Monday, perhaps. I exited quite early, right? I think I showed, I don't know, I think I showed, I don't know who I showed this trade, but either Noel or something. So the first looking at, then of course a sell, gotten for a sell. I was taken out early, then of course market sold aggressively, right? So perhaps if I was in the market, this would have been a very good entry for this long buy happening here. The market has been trending upwards ever since Tuesday or so. Today is what, Thursday, right? So what you're expecting here is short-term pullback, right? Exactly. Right. So we're looking at a short-term pullback, right? Secondly, so many liquidities. This is see any area anywhere you see areas of equal lows or equal highs, just know that something is happening below it, right? So this market, yeah, you're not a prophet, but based off what has happened in the market, you can tell where it might get to, right? Even if I'm taking out now, over time, before today runs out, this market is going to tap into this favorable gap, right? So to be more of a patient trader, you might set a very, just a very moderate buy limit over here. Have your stop loss below this point because you have a fair value gap here that the market can respect, right? So tap in, have your stop loss just below this point. So you know that whatever you're taking, whatever the market is doing from here to here will not affect you that much. Very amazing lots, very as low as possible. Then targets, you can start by targeting this high, right? You can start by targeting this high. There's something I didn't get. When you see equal lows, what happens? Yeah, when you see areas of equal highs and lows, there's liquidity lying below them, right? Liquidities are like, how am I gonna use it? When you play um racing games, right? Your nitro helps you increase your speed. So liquidity zones are like nitros. The market taps into them and disappears aggressively, right? Let me see areas that something like that has happened. Okay, look at this point here. In fact, this was actually what took me out on this particular trade. What are you seeing here? Let me drag. This is a high. You know, in fact, I was even looking at this high here. So the market respected this high for quite a long time. This zone entirely, this zone entirely, areas of equal highs, right? The market came, respected it once more here. Then what happened? Broke it, tapped into this liquidity over here, then boom, aggressively sold, aggressively. Now, this one that happened here now is not so clear, but look below here. What are you seeing here? Areas of people lows. No, anyone looking at this is like, this is a very strong support. And of course, it's a very strong support, right? It's a very strong support. Market came respected, came back respected. Boom, market tapped into it, took out these lows, everything here, took out every damn possible support you can think. If this one is not too good for you, you decide to go for this, every possible support here, and of course, disappeared, right? And this was the lowest point that gave rise to this highest peak we are looking at here, right? So areas of equal lows from here, straight up by, no coming back. And the market hasn't even, no coming back, right? So when you see areas like this, just look out for markets breaking them. It's always like this, right? It's just like a formula. It's always like this. You know, then it's taken out. This is like a fake out, right? Buyers will think, okay, it's a good time to buy. But those that understand know that this is like the perfect time to sell. In fact, the perfect time to sell is when it has done something like this, give a retest. This is your entry. This particular point, tapping aggressively. It's always, the pattern has always been like this. Observe the market. Just look at the market yourself. Pattern has always been like this. And gold is the god of making this kind of move. In fact, that of gold self can be crazy sometimes, right? The pattern has always been like this. Most times, it will break areas of equal highs. If you're looking for if you're looking for a buy, just flip the switch, right? It will break the support, break the what's it called? Break the resistance, then do a retest. So that's it, just it, right? That is just it. That is just that is just it about it. So if you're looking at this particular case, right? Let's say a low was broken and the high was broken too. Let's say this is a high, right? The high was broken. Now the market hasn't actually come down. If you're following this rule, let me see if I can flip this switch. Is it possible? And how can I? This is a low, right? Market broke this low. That's the first move. Then went ahead to break the high. That's the second move. Now what you're waiting for here is a retest, right? On this particular zone. So that's what you're waiting for on this 4 hours time frame. That's what you're waiting for. So that retest hasn't happened yet. So we patiently wait, right, for it to happen. And that's it. Okay. That's it about it. That is it about it. So always look out for this. Good, like I say, good always good does that. I took Coach Noel, yeah. I also showed you this. I showed you this. Got taken out very, very early. What happened? You see areas of, if I go down to 1 minute time frame, this is where this particular point here will be very interesting. Look here now. These are areas of nice lows, right? The market did, took it out, right? Took it out, broke the high, came back to retest, then of course started buying aggressively, right? Come to mark the lows. This is a very good, in fact, I have to even make sure that my SL is very healthy, right? Look at it. On the 5 minutes or 15 minutes, it will make more sense. But what are you seeing here? Nice Apollos. Market came, took it out aggressively, right? then boom, broke this high or this high perhaps, then came back for a retest. Came back for a retest. That's where the buy started. And since then, gold has been, you can see that. All right. So that's it just it. That's it just it. And these I think I hope okay, these are another points, right? I see a low, I mark it out. Market did what? In fact, look at this one I took. I had to even keep, after ignoring this, I have to even it's just messed up, right? So one thing about gold, just be very careful. You see how the market left this low here, came to respect this fair value gap below here, and even this one down here. He left this, came here. The second one came here. This is like a double confirmation. When I see this is like a double bottom, and it's good for a fly. What happened? He hits at least respected these highs here, then of course started going down. So always know that let me show you the last area of equal highs that the market just tapped out. All right. You can see area like here, like, what is a very strong support. You take your sell, sell. What the market just take all of you out, then smack down. It's always there. It always happens, right? So that's it, family. I hope you got value this morning. Cheers and have an amazing day, right?